How's it going, everybody? My name is Manny Romero with the Mission Therapist podcast, and I'm super excited today because I have our first guest here I'm going to interview. I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Kahnaki.
Thank you. I mean, you're a guest at my office. So
We're in his office, in his beautiful chiropractic office.
Welcome.
So I'm a guest here too.
welcome. So go ahead.
So I wanted to invite you here. I wanted to have a conversation with you because, this podcast is about helping people just improve their relationships, helping them focus and improve their emotional well-being and their mental health. But one of the things I feel like that needs to be foundational with anybody who's even going to take on that journey is to have a good mindset, to be able to be in a place where they feel capable, they feel like they can do this, right? For success to happen. And so I thought about you because you have your own practice, and I have a lot of respect for people who taken on that journey, knowing how much growth they need to embark on and how much they need to push themselves and have the right type of mindset, I guess. And so that's why I thought about you, and I wanted to have this discussion on mindset with you, just to share with the viewers, I guess, a little bit about what kind of that takes, right? So let me ask you just what are your thoughts on mindset in terms of how important it was for you kind of starting your practice and just doing some of the stuff that you're doing now?
No, I really like that you said mindset. I myself thought about this really, really deep because you were starting something new. Yeah. I started something that I have never done before.
Yeah.
Never met anyone that did it before. I kind of just came in, took on this location, started basically from ground zero.
Yeah. And that's hard to do.
It is, but I mean, I feel like any project that you take on, it has its own challenges. Even if you go start working for a company, it has its own challenges.
Sure.
Right? Everything that you do, you're gonna overcome certain things. You have to grow. You have to make yourself better for that position that you're involved in, right?
Yeah.
For me, I feel mindset is a good word that you used, but I think it's even a little bit more than that. I think I had to really grow as a person, change my mentality, change how I think about work, how I think about finances, how I think about securities, how I think about future, retirement and stuff like that. I had to really sit down and change the way that I'm thinking about this and how I'm viewing it for my future.
Yeah.
Right. And at the same time, you need, other things, that you need to work on. As far as, am I gonna be comfortable enough to create something like this without being anxious all the time,
right?
Without being stressed out all the time,
right? Yeah. So did you know from the get-go you wanted to start your own practice? Because I feel for me, I started my own practice as well, and I think I didn't know that I always wanted to do that. I think at some point I felt limited by working a 9-to-5 job, and I remember at some point it was man, I feel I really need to push myself to make the leap to start something, and because I felt I hit a ceiling of growth. I was I'm not growing, and so this is the next step for me to grow. I don't know. How did you?
No, for me was I felt irrelevant.
Yeah.
I felt I wake up in the morning, show up at a job at 9 o'clock. Doesn't matter how good I do. Doesn't matter how bad I do. Still gonna make the same amount of money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I put extra hours. It doesn't matter if I'm more creative about it. It just does not change my professional life, right? And that was actually making me very depressed. I'm this is not what I want to do. I want to be able to grow. I want to see different things that is going on in my mind. I want to implement them.
It's what's the point? You wake up, you're what's the point?
Right.
I'm getting paid the same if I see 30 clients or 5 clients.
And then it's not even about money. It's about am I creating something solid, right?
Yeah.
What am I going to be remembered? How am I going to be remembered after I'm gone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that.
It's for me, it was very important to create something that fundamentally was good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't money driven. It was patient-driven. It was result-driven. It was, you know, I want to be able to like have something in this area for the next 30 years. I remember at the beginning, I used to tell all my patients, I still say it, I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here for the next 30 years. And that's my goal. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you think about it that way, if you go about it that way, you're going to put the extra hours in. You're going to make sure that your name is not going to be tarnished. You know, like that's all we have. Our reputation is huge, right?
I feel like the idea of at the end of life, like, what do I want for myself, right? I feel like that's such a loaded question. It's such a loaded thing to look at. And I feel like for some people, it can be really hard to confront. And so I'm almost wondering, and I wonder what your thoughts are on this, but like, I wonder if that's why a lot of people don't ask that question, or do people ask themselves that question and just avoid it? You know, I feel like I feel like if more people ask themselves that question, I guess, more people would have like an empowering mindset, right? Like people would be able to, you know, believe in themselves a little bit more, like try something new, do things that they want to do with their life, instead of like, you know, self-sabotaging or doing things that, you know, that they're ashamed of, or not living the life that they want to live.
Well, asking those questions make people very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No one likes to be uncomfortable.
Because there's a chance that you might not be able to reach it, right? Like there's
always a chance of failure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's very uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
If you feel that way, you're like, oh, if I fail, it's gonna be bad, right? Yeah. If you're constantly thinking about that, you don't even answer that questions for yourself. You say, okay, great. I have a 9-to-5 job. I have health insurance. I have benefits. I know exactly how much money is going to be in my account at the end of each year. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you will never take the leap to go like do something that is outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, like how do you deal with failure? Like how do you look at failure?
Failure is it's necessary. Like it's a necessity.
Yeah.
You have to fail.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it. If anyone comes up to me and says, I've never failed, I'm going to be like questioning them. I'm like, well, you didn't try enough. I was listening to this gentleman, very successful gentleman, that was talking about his father, right? How basically his father was treating him. I think it was JFK actually. I think it was JFK's father. So one of the things that they used to do at dinner table, the dad would come in and ask the kids, what did you fail on?
Oh shit.
Yes. And if they didn't have a good story that like, you know, what they failed on that week or that day, he would get upset. He's like, you guys didn't try hard enough, right? Because if you try, there's a chance, the more that you try, the more higher chances that you have to fail, right? Yeah. So if you're not failing, that means you're not trying.
I love that. That way of thinking, right? It takes away like the anxiety around failure. It takes away the fear of it.
Right.
Because if you think about the way that you're thinking about it, like we'll always end up failing something when we try something new, maybe. And it's not the end of it. It's not terminal. Failure isn't terminal.
I agree.
The way that you're talking about it anyway.
100%. Like, think about it. Like, we go in relationships, right? Romantic relationships. There's a chance that you fail. Yeah. It doesn't hold you back from trying new relationships, right?
Doesn't hold you back from marrying somebody.
Marrying someone. Yeah. You know, the fear of like, I've heard like people say this, like 50% of marriages fail.
Yeah.
Yes. Does that mean that we shouldn't try anymore? No one should get married anymore? Right. That's not how life works, right? If you look at like, you know, most of like, you know, successful businessmen and businesswomen, they have failed multiple businesses until they found their passion and until they found like the business that would work for them, the profession that would work for them, and they went after it and they succeeded.
Yeah.
Great example, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Tesla was not doing good for a very, very long time. It just wasn't. Yeah. You know?
I bet you nobody remembers that though.
Or yeah, exactly.
Really, like knows that because
no one remembers the first model. Yeah. You know, it was this luxury, very expensive car. Couldn't charge it. Just didn't make sense. Everyone were like walking around or like, what is this guy doing? He's like, it's okay. I have my own vision. I don't care. He put his own money in there, and he made it happen.
Yeah. It's so crazy when you're thinking about like the way you're talking about failure, the way you're talking about success. It's interesting because I feel like the relationship you have with with failure, the relationship you have with, like, you know, yeah, with the belief in yourself, I guess. Um, I really like it really impacts like your mental health or your emotional well-being. Like if most of the time you're looking at challenges in a way of like I don't think I can overcome that, or I don't think I can do that, like you hold yourself back. You keep yourself from feeling the excitement of accomplishing something or the excitement of doing something, you know, and those moments of excitement, those moments of like accomplishment are so important for life, for you to have meaning, for you to have like um just the essential like damn, like I'm worth something, like I did it.
And the
You
minute
hold
that you
yourself back from
experience that excitement once, is so addictive.
Yeah.
You go put yourself in trouble again to get that excitement again.
Yeah.
You go start new ventures, you know, you go start new things. You were like, oh, the last time I did this, I failed a couple of times, I succeeded once, it worked out. That excitement will drive you forward. Like I remember I talked with you, like you just barely opened up your own practice. I remember that. And you were like very nervous, and then
I still am sometimes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're not nervous, you're not human.
Yeah.
You know, like if you wake up in the morning and you're like, you know, like,
right.
a certain level of anxiety is necessary in life.
It pushes you, you know?
Yeah, like, you know, you.
Yeah. Actually, which is actually true. Like a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of doubt, like,
pushes you forward.
Pushes you to hustle. It's
Yeah.
like, let me go make this happen.
if you're like super relaxed and calm, first of all, you would never open up your own practice.
Yeah.
Second of all, you wouldn't like go out of your way. Like what is the day today? Today's Saturday, right?
Yeah.
What time is it?
Saturday, 4:30.
4:30.
Yeah.
I was working until now.
Yeah.
Trust me, if I had like zero level of anxiety, I'll be staying home today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's necessary a little bit, you know, like it's good to be a little nervous, but you have to be able to like direct that in the right way, right? If your anxiety in a way that you can't get life going, you can't get your work done, you can't, you know, push your relationship forward, well, that's destructive, you know, then, you know, that person, he or she should probably call you and figure that out, you know, but like a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of like nervousness is good. It helps you out. It's a driving force in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit.
So I was going to say something, and we got sidetracked. So I was talking about. I remember like when you barely
started.
Yeah, when you barely started your practice, I talked with you, and you were like excited. You know, at the same time, very scared. You know, like, and you were trying to just figure it out, and you were trying to figure out like what the best ways to go about this. And then fast forward like 4 months, 5 months later, December, like, you know, I remember I was talking to you. I'm like, how are you doing? You were like, I had my best month.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The whole month, you had a big smile on your face, ear to ear, you know? That excitement, that's what you're gonna be chasing your whole life from now on. Because now you have experienced that for the first time.
Exactly, yeah. And on the flip side of that, I think, I'll talk about my experience. I think comfort depresses that excitement. Comfort like takes that away, and so I feel like the opposite of that excitement, the opposite of looking at failure as like not terminal, like you're gonna fail anyway, so why don't you go do it? The opposite is comfort of like I'd rather not feel uncomfortable failing and just not do it. And I feel like that depresses like your persona, your experience as a human.
My recommendation is to whoever wants to start something new is, first of all, understand who you are as a person. Know yourself really well, right? If you have any flaws, work on them. You know, don't try to make it look good. Actually change them.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a flaw and you recognize it, go change it.
I love that.
It's not that hard, you know?
Ask for help too. Like if you don't know how to change it, like ask for help.
Ask for help, absolutely. I think like nowadays, like, you know, with all this, you know, like we have therapists at our disposal. We have motivational speakers at our disposal. You know, we have people that they're therapists and motivational speaker at the same time. You know, like yourself, right? We have all these. We have all these options. So I feel like, you know, if you're not taking advantage of it, well, you know, you're just selling yourself short. You know, might as well, like, it's available to you, just use it. You know yourself, make yourself better on a daily basis. Work hard, never stop working. Don't let people bring you down. Don't allow that, you know. Keep giving yourself positive messages. just understand that like, you need to push yourself forward and you're going to get there eventually,
Yeah,
right? Surround
absolutely.
yourself with good people, as you said,
Yeah.
and have a goal in the future that is a good goal. Like, like it's not just financial gain. It's not just like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have this car. I'm going to have the house. All great. But the purpose needs to be much bigger than that.
Yeah.
Find that passion in your life and go after it and don't stop until you get there.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna call you Dr. Sal because you're my
Hey.
good friend here. We've known each other for a little bit now, and we've gotten to become good friends.
Yeah.
And you're my chiropractor too, and so if anyone's out here in Orange County, highly recommend this guy. He fixed my shoulder, fixed my calf, and so how can people like reach out to you, like if they wanted to come check you out?
They can look at Cloud Chiropractic,
deals
Aliso
or anything?
Viejo. Yeah, and then everything is online.
Okay.
If they just search, if they Google Cloud Chiropractic, Aliso Viejo, my information comes up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you.